Welcome to the Soul Synergy Network podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Irma Elisheva Diaz. Today's conversation is for those who are grieving but have never dreamed about the person they lost. Maybe you've heard others say, I see them in my dreams. They visit me at night. I feel comforted when they appear. And quietly you wonder, why hasn't that happened to me? Does it mean something is wrong? Did I not love them enough? Are they upset with me? Was I not important to them? If you've ever had those thoughts, this episode is for you. Today we're talking about the grief that happens in silence and why the absence of dreams does not mean the absence of love. We want to stay away from what is known as the comparison trap. One of the quiet struggles in grief is comparison. We compare timelines. They're grieving, they stopped grieving, this person remarried too quickly, this person doesn't cry enough. We compare our emotions. I cry more, this person doesn't, or I don't cry enough, and that person cries all the time. What does that mean? We compare how others seem to experience connection. When someone shares a vivid dream, it can sound comforting, even super spiritual. And without realizing it, the mind begins to ask, if love shows up in dreams, what does it mean that it hasn't shown up for me? But grief does not follow one pathway. There's no single way love continues. And dreams are only one language of grief. Remember that. That's important. Not everyone speaks that language. Not everyone processes things through dreams. Every nervous system processes loss differently. Some people, they process it through talking, through crying, through writing, through remembering stories, or looking at photos, or visiting meaningful places where their loved one used to love to go, or just simply quiet reflection, sitting under a tree, letting the morning sun hit you with a cup of coffee. Others process through physical movement, through creativity, through prayer, or through silence. And some people rarely remember dreams at all. That's me, by the way. Even outside of grief. I can tell. I wake up in the morning sometimes and I know I dreamt for a long period of time. I dreamt, all night maybe, off and on, and I don't remember any of my dreams, and it's so frustrating because sometimes I feel like I want to remember them. I feel a certain peace in my heart that I want to recapture something, and I can't. Dream recall varies from person to person. Not everybody can do it. Many people do dream, but the memory disappears within seconds of waking up. I'm telling you, it's happened to me. I know it happens. So the absence of remembered dreams does not mean the inner world is inactive to you. It may simply mean the mind is working quietly without bringing images to the surface. Again, we are all different. The nervous system can sometimes need to protect the heart. Sometimes that happens. The absence of dreams is actually a form of protection. Just like temporary denial is a form of survival, right? So if the loss was sudden, if it was traumatic, if it was medically intense, if it was emotionally overwhelming, if it was complicated, or it's unresolved with a bunch of questions, everybody has a bunch of questions, the nervous system may limit dream imagery. So the person is not flooded during sleep. Your mind may be quietly asking a quiet question. Is this person ready to feel this yet? If the person if the answer is no, rather, grief is processed slowly in safer doses, right? Especially if there's guilt involved. If you're feeling like maybe you could have done something better. It processes slowly and differently than somebody else. Healing is paced according to what the nervous system can tolerate. This is not avoidance. This is wisdom. It's like I tell many of, in my grief sessions, in my grief groups, it's wisdom to allow yourself and give yourself permission to grieve with your own rhythm. Don't compare yourself to anybody, because we are all individuals and we are all different. We have different upbringings, different culture, different traditions, and it makes us grieve differently. So the love you have for your loved one is not measured by the dreams you have. Some people, many people, more than not worry. If I don't dream about them, maybe they weren't that important. But love is not measured by night experiences. Love shows up in the daytime, in daytime life. It shows up when you think of them unexpectedly, when you repeat something they used to say, when you cook their favorite meal, when you carry their values, when you just speak their name. You live differently because they were in your life. They impacted you. They left a legacy. There's so much power in legacy. Some people carry their loved one in dreams. Others carry them in their decisions in life, in their habits, in their character. Both are continuing bonds. They both work, and they can work together as well. And both are love. The fear that the departed is angry at you is, a fear, a quiet fear that people seem to carry. Maybe not angry, but maybe disappointed, maybe sad by something you said to them, or, and you carry it. And you ask yourself questions. Maybe they're mad at me. Maybe they don't want to come. They don't want to appear in the dream. Maybe I disappointed them. These things go through your mind. Grief often looks for signs and explanations. But dreams are not messages that are given or withheld based on worthiness. Remember that. They are internal experiences that are shaped by memory, by emotion, and by brain processing. The absence of dreams is not a spiritual judgment. It's not a rejection. It is simply one way the mind and the heart are working together. That same connection can happen while you're awake. For many people, connection shows up during the day. It may look like hearing their voice in their thoughts. I've done that a lot with my dad. My parents lived with me, and I took care of my dad, and my dad had a real deep, beautiful voice, by the way. He was a singer. And I hear his voice sometimes in my thoughts. He would call me in my thoughts, and I can hear it. And it feels so peaceful to me. It doesn't make me feel fearful or anything. I feel it. I feel what I'm hearing, right? Knowing what they would say in a situation. I do that all the time. My dad would say this. My mom would say this. Or feeling guided by their values. That's all part of it, right? Noticing their influence in your choices. I do that daily, almost daily. Or feeling close to them in certain places, music or rituals. I get up on Saturday mornings. I've shared this with my grief groups. I get up on Saturday mornings and I put on, mariachi music. I put on boleros, they call them romantic music, because my father was a singer. My father sang beautifully. And it reminds me of him, so I put it on while I'm watering my plants and I'm moving around the house. It brings healing. That's my way, right? That's my dream. This is a quieter form of continuing relationship. It's not dramatic. It's not symbolic. Maybe it is, but it's deeply integrated into what they left us. Sometimes the love doesn't visit the same way or the way the next person describes it, but it definitely lives inside you, and you must never feel like it doesn't. Then there's a deeper perspective. When love settles. In early grief, the connection often feels external. We long for signs. We hope for dreams. We look for something to confirm they're still close. But over time, something changes. The relationship moves inward. Their voice becomes your inner voice. Their strength becomes your strength. Their presence becomes part of your emotional structure of who you are now and how you respond to challenges in life and decisions and whatever. When this happens, the mind may no longer need symbolic dreams because the bond has already been integrated. That's how I feel with my parents. The bond I had with them has already been integrated. In fact, it happened pretty quickly after they were gone. The connection has been steady. It's been quiet, but it's internal. Sometimes the absence of dreams doesn't mean the love is missing. It means the love has settled. And that's important to remember. When the silence feels empty, we think about it. Still, the silence can feel painful because you miss them, you love them. If you find yourself wishing for a dream, you might try this, just gentle reflection. Before sleep, simply just say, if my heart needs comfort, I am open to gentle connection in whatever way is right for me. Then let it go. Let go of the expectation. Remember, as I always say, as a person of faith, I always add a prayer. Because connection doesn't always come through dreams. We want to not focus so much on it that it brings unrest. Because sometimes all of this comes through a memory during the day, a moment of calm, a feeling of strength that you didn't have before, a sudden sense of peace. Grief connection is not limited to sleep. Let's talk about the soul's work without images. There's a quiet process that happens in grief. Love is being reorganized. You'll hear me say that a lot. It's not lost. It's not erased. It's reorganized. The relationship is moving from external presence to internal foundation. And this work often happens without images. I'm telling you it does. Without dreams, without dramatic experiences. But it is still happening. You are still carrying them. And they are still shaping who you are becoming because of what they imparted into your life, because of the impact they had. That's the power of legacy. So in closing, if you have never had a grief dream, please hear this and hear it well. There is nothing wrong with you. Your love was real. Your relationship mattered. The absence of dreams is not absence of connection. It can't be. Some hearts speak in dreams, some hearts they speak in memories, or both. Some hearts carry love quietly, woven into everyday life, as I described a few minutes ago. And sometimes the deepest connections are the quiet ones. Not visits, not visions, just a steady presence inside you. Please remember these things. Be at peace in your heart. These things are important as you go through the grief journey because you are navigating through a tough time in your life. Don't let anything get in the way. Remember these things. As I close, I want to thank you for joining me today. If this conversation brought you comfort, please share it with someone who may be wondering about the very same thing. I'm Dr. Irma Elisheva Diaz. I'm here with all my heart. May you trust your own way of grieving. May you honor the quiet ways that love continues. And may you remember, even in silence, love remains. Don't forget to subscribe. God bless you.